Welcome to Volume 11 Rock Talk Podcast, brought to you by Volume 11 Music. Your hosts, Rich Hoffa, Rick Lawhorn, and Mark Dunn. Rock Talk, Volume 11 Music.
The outtakes here. Outtakes of Volume 11.
That's right. I decided to do this on purpose, get Mark laughing, because he's got me laughing. So
the fun is contagious here.
So,
Volume 11.
thanks for joining us. This is Rock Talk at Volume 11 Music in Fredericksburg, Virginia. My name is Rich.
Rick Lawhorn.
Mark Dunn. We got Wikipedia and what was this?
Yeah,
The second. Mark.
One line.
Mark,
I'm down to one line these days.
Yeah, Mark one-liner done. So
One liner done.
that's it. So if you're enjoying the videos and like the channel, please subscribe to that channel, like the video, and share it. Please leave some comments. I answer back. If you've got any ideas for an upcoming episode, we'd love to hear it. And don't forget to pick up some Volume 11 coffee if you ever stop into the store, and we can ship it. You want to buy something, we'll throw. You buy that, throw it in the box if you want to buy a guitar.
It works. I just sniffed a little while ago.
That's right. Woo! Yeah, that's it. So last week we were talking about Led Zeppelin and their mark on music, and this week's episode we're going to talk about what we think are the top 5 Led Zeppelin songs collectively of us. So,
Stairway and Rock and Roll are on there.
So right off the bat, they're in the Hall of Fame.
So this gives us, some other things to think about.
Yeah,
so,
Stairway to Heaven would have been the obvious, for
Right.
most people, and we all know it, of course. But we're putting it in the Hall of Fame, so it is off the list here for this debate.
All right, so I'm going to start off the first one.
Okay.
Misty Mountain Hop.
Yeah. Okay, that's certainly a song that could be
I
great.
really don't know
There we go.
what the topic was.
These Led Zeppelin songs.
That's right.
You know what? We should get something to write down on.
We probably should, man. We're not going to be able to remember all this. So I guess initially we're just going to talk about what the songs could potentially be, and then we got to try to figure out the ranking order. And in my opinion, there's so many great Zeppelin songs that this could be a 2-hour episode.
That's right.
I go on all day on how much I love the music.
Well, we can't make it too low because the battery will run.
Well, we don't want to do that, so we'll try to keep the time efficiency here. So,
Misty
Mountain Hop, but that's great too. Off of Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah, that's a fantastic middle of their anything other than that's kind of like it's where they start to open up a little bit.
Yeah.
Even more.
Yeah. Well, I just love the groove of it.
Yeah,
it's a cool groove.
It's got just for the drums. It's just so heavy.
Yeah.
Just love the song.
And like we said before, John Bonham, he was so innovative that every song he was putting something different in these songs. So it's not the same beat over and over.
No, it's great
Like some bands we know, but he's got a lot of different stuff happening.
And also, I love the way 4 Non Blondes.
They did a great cover.
Great cover of that.
Really?
Song.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Excellent.
You haven't heard that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh man, you got to check it out.
I saw them open for Aerosmith back when I was a kid. They were. She's great, Linda Perry.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Excellent. Yeah.
Set of pipes.
Yeah,
No
no doubt.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job of that song.
I have to check it out.
Really good. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you got, Rick?
All right. So I'm not putting this at the top of the list because I guess we're saying 5. Are we starting with the 5th ones, working our way, or is that like your thought?
No, it's just
we're just throwing out.
I think it's just collectively.
All
right. I'm going to say then my first one, just to throw this in here, Communication Breakdown off the very first record. Why? It's probably one of the heaviest songs at that time of release. Remember, this is January of 1969. The whole concept of heavy metal music is still pretty new. It isn't really that overly established yet. A lot of the more famous Zeppelin influenced bands or just metal bands that came out later hadn't even released anything yet. So it's in that cutting edge of just heavy, hard-driving rock, heavy riff, fast minor pentatonic soloing there from Jimmy Page, Robert Plant screaming his brains out, hitting these unbelievable high notes, kind of like laying the roots down of what is going to become hard rock and metal, particularly going into the 70s.
Yeah, that was probably I don't think we're in Kansas anymore moment.
Yeah, totally.
When you first heard that one, because I don't, I wasn't around to hear it, but I can imagine somebody going from the Stones even, who were more edgy than the Beatles or the Doors, and hearing that going,
communication breakdown. Yeah, it's a dawn of a new era here.
Yeah, that's
so I'm going to mention that one.
Yeah.
But again, so many to pick from. Mark, if you'd like to.
I think one of them. Well, I'm going to say what my favorite is. Just
all right, get it out.
Rain Song is my favorite.
Yeah, brilliant composition. Yeah. And it's so opposite of communication breakdown.
It is.
Right.
I mean, opposite ends of the spectrum.
And,
really.
And for me, we were talking about this before we started filming this episode. It's because of learning it when I was a kid, and I didn't know that you could retune the guitar.
The guitar, yeah.
Right. So I was just literally trying different chord progressions on a standard tuning, and got to the blah blah point where you start singing, and I couldn't get any more. And I was not actually correct. The chords were right, but not the voicing.
The voicings,
because the guitar is tuned completely different.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when I learned that, I was probably 12 or 13 trying to learn the Rain Song in standard tuning, and when I had materials that gave me the tuning when I was 15 or 16. It was so much fun to play it. Yeah. And it was just because it's such a beautiful piece of music. I think I left my guitar in tune for a week, and that's all I played. It was so much fun. So that's like one of those that I love this song, but it's also that memory of me discovering how to play it the wrong way and then the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's sort of my background. Like we talked before about, with the Stones, I didn't realize Keith Richards was using all those open style tunings. Like he's got 5 strings, it's open G. I just thought, he's got his tune, normally like everybody else, and he's just doing Keith Richards things. But like, oh no, he retuned the whole guitar. And of course, Jimmy took it to so many new levels on all those.
Yeah, and if I ever had the opportunity to speak to him and ask him one question, my question to him would be, what's the chicken or the egg there? Did you have the melody and the sound in your head?
Yeah, great question.
Or and you facilitated it by the tuning?
Yeah.
Or were you just messing around with the tuning and were like, oh, this seems to
work, right.
So, because I'm curious as to what the process was there.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but you're right. If we could interview him, ask him a magic question.
It would be, and so many people have used a variation on that tuning. One of my favorite bands, Big Wreck, they use that tuning a lot, and it's really cool. So and again with the Mellotron, and they're beautiful lyrics, and it's a symphonic orchestral piece. So those are three very different Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, I don't want to argue with the two that you guys have picked out. So we'd have to know. We just have to
make like a top 15 or something.
Yeah, this is what makes it interesting.
Right? It does.
We have 2 slots left with 3 of us that we're going to have to agree.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
For the top 2 songs, like for top 5.
Right.
Oh man.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
Well, I mean, you could throw some stuff out there, write it down, and see where.
What about Cashmere?
Yeah, I was going to say Cashmere because that gave such a different texture. Still sounds like Led Zeppelin because it's Led Zeppelin, but that it's like a Middle Eastern kind of a flavor to the music, which was so different from some of the other things, the earlier blues-based albums that they did there early on.
My chart for that was with 2 codas, and it was still 4 pages.
Wow, man.
And when you think about that particular piece of music as well, look at all their other stuff that they did. They didn't care about album-oriented radio.
No, not at all. No,
there were no Cashmere was played all the way through. Yep. There was not a 45.
And they didn't edit it. It wasn't like, okay, we're doing an edit for the radio. It's like, nope, this is it.
Same with Achilles' Last Stand, 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Stairway to Heaven, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
The Rain Song is 6.
It's about 6, right? If
so it's you think about some of these songs which are counter to how popular songs typically were.
Yeah.
Because popular music is, it's an earworm.
Yeah.
But these songs were played
And somebody
And
in the
they're
record
just as popular.
and the record company executives are like, okay, your song has to be between 2 minutes and 54 seconds and 3 minutes and 18 seconds long because that's the attention span of the average listener. And that's kind of the way a lot of other bands had to deal with. But Zeppelin's like, oh no, we're going to throw that rule book out.
I'll throw another one that we might be able to agree on because we were talking about the box set in last week's episode.
Yes,
Traveling
Riverside Blues. I love their cover. That's a Robert Johnson song. It's a blues song, Delta Blues. And Zeppelinized, and boy, what a fantastic version. I mean, Robert Plant wailing on those vocals, Jimmy Page doing all kinds of cool stuff, amazing rhythm section there, John Bonham, John Paul Jones, just ear candy.
And that was also like, that came out in 85. So it was, 5 years after the band was done.
As far as like
Plant had already put a solo record.
I had a couple.
The Firm had come out.
Firm, with Jimmy Page.
Yeah, so that was like, whoa, that was the first time, that anybody had ever heard that.
Yeah, and I remember DC 101 back in the day here in the DC area playing that like this is a new track from Zeppelin. I mean, obviously they had done it years ago, but it hadn't been released. And it's on the box set called Traveling Riverside Blues. And I just was like, whoa, I was just blown away by it.
Yeah.
How good it was. In my opinion, I just thought it was excellent. So I still do. So.
Yeah.
And then for the fifth one, what's that song by Greta Van Fleet?
Man, you're gonna get
send all hate mail to Mark Dunn.
Volume 11. They are an awesome Led Zeppelin tribute band. I mean, the first time so to Traveling Riverside Blues, I'm gonna be very serious here. The first time I ever heard Greta Van Fleet, I thought I was listening to an unreleased Zeppelin song. That is a compliment to them, but it is also undeniable what is going on.
Right,
obviously very Zeppelin-esque kind of sound going on there.
Well, even the way that they are on stage.
Yeah, the mannerisms.
And stuff for sure.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But hey, for me, I'm glad they're doing it.
No, I think it's cool to have some younger bands keeping
you.
rock live and bringing those influences of those classic bands.
But it's that good.
But
it was recorded. The drums sounded that real, and of course it was like an overhead or something. I'm like, I'm listening to it going, I don't recognize this tune.
Yeah.
Thinking it's an unreleased.
Thinking it's Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Which is exactly how people would have felt listening to Traveling Riverside Blues.
Right.
And when did that come out? 88 or 89?
Yeah, I remember. It was actually 88, like spring of 88.
Okay. Yeah.
In my weird brain, just the way I remember things, I remember Clapton had a box set in 87. Because that was one of the first big ones I remember was Clapton. And that was like 4.
And the Beatles.
And the Beatles, all those, they were starting to kind of bring out the remixes onto CDs, right?
And remasters.
And the remasters. And then Zeppelin, and it was 88.
So, I mean, I would say, how do you not put Cashmere on that?
Yeah.
Fine by me. I'd put it on there.
What about Black Dog?
That would be one of my top picks. I'm almost going here with the way I say it because we know we can't do Stairway. That's in the Hall of Fame and rock and roll.
Yeah.
So what's left that's not in the Hall of Fame, and there's so many great ones to pick from.
I mean, the fourth album could be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the whole album by itself,
I mean, my favorite song off that album, like I was saying, is The Battle of Evermore.
Battle of Evermore.
Everything on that. 4 sticks.
Yeah, cool. You can't pick. I mean, again, it's very subjective. There's no right or wrong answer. But for me, when I was like 14, I'd already heard the song on the radio, but I was getting halfway decent on guitar. And I just remember just trying to work out that riff. I knew there was some pentatonic-y blues things going on, but like Mark and we were talking about this earlier, just the weird rhythmic aspect in a cool way. Where's the one? I mean, where do you come in at? It's so strange but cool. It's not just that typical 12-bar blues straight on the beat. They're doing some really weird, oddball, cool things with some of the rhythmic stuff.
You're talking Black Dog?
Black Dog,
yeah. And there's also, it's a little bit of an audible illusion there, too, because it sounds like it's up, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just...
Right.
God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But it's like... It's
kind of deceptive to the ear,
yeah. So you feel up. But it's like it's just laid back.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, the magic of Zeppelin, and that's magical. The way those musicians put that groove together, that beat and that riff,
and played together.
Yeah. The chemistry between them on that, and then Plant just screaming his brains out in all those high notes over top of that, and definitely a voice unlike any. For the tonal aspect. A lot of singers have high voices, but I mean, a lot of power behind those highs that he was delivering there.
Do we have time for a funny story with regards to that song?
Yeah.
So doing the Zeppelin show with the symphonies, my very first show was in Jacksonville, Florida, and Randy Jackson, the singer, was Zebra.
Zebra
is the singer in this, and it sold out theater, and we're all tethered to music stands. And it's not like I need to read the music, but you have to
know the cues, right?
You need to know where you're at, because this isn't like four dudes in a garage. And
right.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
And you got 100 pieces behind you. Everybody needs to be on the same spot.
Yeah.
So we're all in that. Randy's out running around, being an entertainer.
And he's the front man.
He's the front man.
Okay.
But it's a rock band, and then the symphony's
and the
behind us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha.
So, and conductor that did all the arrangements, and so Randy starts in the wrong spot.
In the wrong spot.
And so Brent Havens is the conductor, arranger for this, and he's still conducting them in time. He's going, "You're in the wrong spot. You're in the wrong spot."
Oh, jeez.
And I'm looking at the drummer. The drummer at the time is a guy named Mike Trimble, and he just looks at me with this grin, because he knows it's getting ready to go down. And what happened was, this is literally going to be a train wreck.
Wow.
With the symphony.
Yeah.
And Brent Havens yelled over the entire Philharmonic, 114. Like, I think he could still hear that.
114.
Which was to go to the measure 114.
The measure 114, okay.
Which was the guitar solo. And ever since then, we called that became an adjective. Don't 114.
Yeah, that's fun. Just curious, when you did that, how many rehearsals did you all do for that show?
When I got the gig, I auditioned with The Ocean. So I did, after they just made sure I could read how he had written out the times for that riff alone has 4 different times.
Yeah, it's got some odd stuff going on there.
So I rehearsed, I learned the material and rehearsed with him probably 3 or 4 times. But when we would go into town, we would rehearse. The sound check was the rehearsal with the symphony. Okay. They had the music ahead of time. But for a symphony, those types of arrangements are pretty basic.
Yeah.
They nail it.
Right.
Especially if it was Jacksonville was a younger symphony. Like, they were fans of Randy.
Oh, okay.
And they knew the music. They were playing it with gumption.
Yeah. Cool.
There's other symphonies that haven't necessarily had necessarily got it.
Because I was getting, for example, I was getting a kick out of watching some of these old footage of like the Stones back in '69 when they're doing "You Can't Always Get What You Want," and they have like the singers, and some of these are, this is 1969, so the Stones are young, and they have these 58, 59-year-olds back in that time, total culture shock.
Right, yeah,
they're looking at that
sure.
like, who are these long-haired hippies in here trying to play this bloody music, and I have to bloody sing a high note over this Mick Jagger chap. What is going on here?
Man, did you win an Oscar the other day? You're on fire with the imitations.
I know.
I'm going to start seeing if we should get costumes.
I got to get Rick to do the voiceover for Volume 11 Music.
But I'm serious. Go on YouTube and look up some of the old clips of that late '60s era Stones in the studio, and you'll see what I'm talking about. These older musicians that just look like they're just, I don't want to be here.
Oh no,
singing,
they actually, like, a couple of them that didn't get it, got it.
Got it. Yeah.
Because they, they would typically separate us from them with plexiglass. Right. And a couple of coliseums were in the round, which is kind of interesting. Okay. But so by the 3rd or 4th song, when the crowd, they're used to playing symphony shows.
Yeah. Right. Golfers.
And by the 3rd or 4th song, when the crowd is standing up all the way in the rafters, and screaming at their top of their lungs,
that's cool.
That's when they got it.
Yeah.
If they didn't get it, but some of the symphonies knew they got it.
Right.
They knew it was
No, that's cool.
And to play Kashmir with a symphony.
Oh, I bet. I couldn't even imagine how cool that must have sounded.
Yeah. And then I loved playing the Rain song, but that's the only chart I didn't read.
Because you just knew it. You just knew it so well.
Guitar's tuned to H.
The weird tuning on top of.
So I was like, that doesn't mean nothing.
So what guitars did you use for that particular?
I had to take 6 guitars and use one of. I used Randy's 12-string from Who's Behind the Door.
Cool,
because he would tune that for Friends.
Okay.
But I had 6 different tunings that I had to deal with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, okay.
So Kashmir.
Kashmir had a really,
I'm going to crawl, but Levy has its own tuning. Hey, what can I do is a half step down for some reason.
Right. It is. Yep.
So there was just, to be able to facilitate all of those. you can't be tuning on the fly.
No.
So,
I always thought too, like with Jimmy Page, it was interesting with those alternate tunings that he had the Celtic side of what he was doing, he had the Delta blues side of what he was doing, and then he had like the Middle Eastern side of what he was doing. He was pulling from all kinds of cultures and different things, and embracing that and bringing that into the Led Zeppelin sound and using all these.
And
tunings,
it was unique, and I find it interesting that Richie Blackmore really delved into the Celtic stuff after.
Right.
Blackmore's
Night and all the he's doing a lot of like Celtic and Renaissance music.
It's interesting because there's a darkness to it.
Mm-hmm.
They're using the altered scales.
Altered scales, exactly.
So it's identifiable from a time standpoint as hearing Kashmir sound like a region.
Yes.
And but I think that they were and how do we could have actually broken down 5 different styles within Led Zeppelin, and then pick the 5 best songs in those styles.
Yeah.
So I think what we have here is, and I wouldn't even know where to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I don't know, maybe Kashmir would be 1.
I'll put Kashmir at 1.
Yeah.
The uniqueness of it was so different from anything before it.
Whenever, it doesn't matter where it comes on.
Right.
This is what happens.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, Kashmir.
I'd say maybe Misty.
Misty, okay.
No, maybe Communication Breakdown for 2.
Well, and the importance of it to the evolution of hard
Misty.
rock and metal, like we talked about earlier, and then Misty. That's
and
and
4,
Rich great
and
comments.
5
on
for
that.
Traveling River.
Yeah, but boy, it's so much good stuff.
We win.
We win.
We all win.
We picked a 5.
Yeah,
We got it right.
Right?
I think. Yeah.
So 1 is Kashmir.
Kashmir.
Yeah.
2 is Communication Breakdown. 3 is
Correct.
Misty Mountain Hop. 4
Yeah.
is the Rain Song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 5 is Traveling Riverside Blues. If y'all disagree, so what? No.
And Stairway to
Tell
Heaven's
us.
in the Hall of Fame.
Stairway to Heaven,
and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And we know that there's a lot of other songs that didn't make this list.
There's a lot of great material.
Yeah, I mean, some of my other favorites, but the Rain song's always been my favorite.
Yeah,
song.
yeah. What a catalog of material, though.
know.
Seriously, I mean,
That's
good
it.
stuff.
So, what is your 5 favorite
need to
songs
know.
by Led Zeppelin? Put them in the comments.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. Well, I guess that wraps up this week's
a lot
episode
of good Zeppelin stuff there.
Rock Talk at Volume 11 Music. So, where are you guys playing?
I'm at Log Home Brewery in Lake Anna, Virginia. That would
I was
be.
there
I know
last
you were there last week, right?
right.
So we're going in there Saturday, March 15th, 6 to 9.
I'll leave the light on for you.
All right.
That's right.
And that's where I will be Saturday. How about you, Mark?
I'm out of town,
Out of town.
and I don't have my calendar with me.
Oh,
so
man, okay.
I'm on the road
Could be
I think,
anywhere.
both nights.
Okay.
I got you.
Cool.
But it's all good.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take this weekend off
Wow.
because I have an employee that I can have work here now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah. I think I'm going to take the weekend off.
All right.
And maybe ride my motorcycle. It's starting to get
springy,
starting to
hopefully.
get springy
Getting
here.
out of winter
Getting
time
some of the
and-
sand off the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Get the Harley out, and depending on what song I'm listening to, depends on what speed I ride at. I don't know why, but certain songs come on, and
go
I
fast,
said
right?
it could be a few miles over the speed limit or a lot of
I've
miles
got,
over
I've
the
got
speed
a
Anything
ticket.
could
I've got a
happen.
ticket because of a song before.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Making you just want to.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize I'd goosed it by 10 or 15 miles an hour. Next thing I know, he's
Yeah.
Yep.
The next
All
thing
because
you
of
know,
a song.
Wow.
laying it over. And
Music will do it to you.
Scraping pegs and speeding. So that's it. So if you're enjoying the videos, you like the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share.
And the coffee.
Don't forget to comment. I like hearing from everyone. We like to share stories, and I hope you're enjoying it. So that'll wrap up this week's episode of Rock Talk. We'll see you next week. Peace.
This has been an episode of Volume 11 Rock Talk Podcast, brought to you by Volume 11 Music.